The Rams found their secret formula, a breakdown of what went right in their dominant victory over the Niners yesterday, as well as some key takeaways and some more updates about the special teams unit for the rest of the season. All that and more in this episode of Rams Digest. And welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh. And before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. If you want to be a part of the journey, make sure to hit that sub button and click that notification bell. Click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content pieces covering all the things Rams, so you do not miss a beat this NFL regular season. Make sure to leave a like on this video as well for the Rams getting that revenge win over the Niners, 42-26 yesterday up in Northern California. As this week's coverage after today is going to be based on previewing the ever important game coming up yet again against another divisional rival, another true contender in the Seattle Seahawks. So if you want to make sure you're up to date on that, make sure you subscribe, like the video. And I just want to thank everybody, Josh and I both want to thank everybody who tuned into the stream yesterday of the Niners game. It was a nice, fun environment. Talked a little bit about, our favorite game day snacks, some game day traditions we have as well. So if you want to know more, about us as well, tune in to those streams. Our next stream will be this coming Sunday, November 16th, for the game against the Seattle Seahawks. Should be live at around 12:55-ish for that one, as that's a 1:05 p.m. kickoff. Thank you, everyone who joined the stream yesterday and who watches our videos. We really, really do appreciate it. But now going into our main story of today, the secret formula of the Rams that is revealed to us by Rams Wire, and we're going to get into that right now. Sean McVay tries to stay one step ahead of his opponents, and he's done so recently by completely evolving the LA Rams offense. In years past, the Rams have leaned heavily on 11 personnel, deploying 3 receivers, 1 running back, and 1 tight end together. They always ranked near or at the top of NFL in 11 personnel usage, but there's been a shift the last few weeks, and it's been a staggering shift too. Yes, it definitely has. And according to Next Gen Stats, the Rams have used 13 personnel, 1 wide receiver, 1 running back, 3 tight ends, on 97 plays in their last 3 games. And during McVay's first 137 games as the Rams head coach, they only used 13 personnel on 84 total plays. And this is a key switch. It's something that we saw them do a lot in the Jacksonville game when Devin Lloyd was out of that game. We were like, oh, maybe this was just a one-game game plan. And again, the Saints, not the best team. The Niners, defense not healthy, but you trust them a lot more than you do those other teams on defense. And it's really made the Rams an unstoppable offense these past 3 weeks. Obviously, a big test against the Seahawks, who we talked about it on stream as well, who had 2 defensive touchdowns from DeMarcus Lawrence alone in that game against the Cardinals, where that got out of hand quickly for the Cardinals. But a dominant performance from them, and for the Rams, you're going to have to stay on your toes heading into that game. And the Seahawks are definitely going to be looking at this footage, Mike Macdonald being the defensive mind that he is, and realizing what the Rams do well, he's going to try to take that away. So the Rams need to come ready. But this new package has looked awesome for the Rams. We'll see how long it can last for being pretty much unstoppable, but for right now, this package has been the formula that's really led to the Rams offense being so dominant over its past 3 games. And against the Niners, the Rams were in 13 personnel on 30 of their 67, sorry about that guys, offensive snaps, which was the second highest rate of any team since 2016. That was after using it on 35 of 80 offensive plays, the most by any offense in the last 10 years. The results might be even more jarring. Of the Rams' 6 touchdowns against San Fran, 4 of them came out of 13 personnel. Against the New Orleans Saints a week ago, they also scored 4 touchdowns out of 13 personnel. Yeah, they're using it well in the red zone. They're using it well to develop every single play, every single part of this offense. And it's the highest rate of any team since 2016 in that game there against the Niners. I mean, why not keep doing it? The tight ends have been better all throughout the season for the Rams. Even if we're going into just last game's stats alone to look at here for these passing snaps, and read some off for. Look at the tight ends. Colby Parkinson, 4 for 41 and a touchdown. Davis Allen, 2 for 8 and a touchdown. Tyler Higbee, 3 for 33 in terms of catches and yards for all those numbers. Like, you're getting the better production out of the tight ends that you so desperately needed after last year. It's why you took Terrence Ferguson. You were wondering, when are the Rams going to use him? What's the plan there? Well, it seemed like he just needed a little more time to develop. I didn't even talk about him getting 1 catch for 32 yards. He had other targets that Stafford missed through him on, where he would have had even more catches. Probably those were the only missed throws of the game for Matthew Stafford. And by the way, speaking of Stafford, as we talk about this success, 24 for 36, 280 yards, 4 TDs. Just no interceptions again, as they said on the broadcast. He was one of the few players ever to have 3 straight games of 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Obviously, also breaking into the 400 career passing touchdowns club for quarterbacks, making him the 9th highest passing touchdowns quarterback of all time. Make sure to like this video for that as well. Matthew Stafford still sent rank as our MVP. Should be MVP of the league if the games ended today, but obviously still got 8 more left to prove that. But this offense has been so unstoppable that there's no reason to stop. There's no reason to change much. Again, I know you're going against the best team you've probably played all year in the Seahawks. Yes, I think they're a better team than the Eagles right now. And this game is going to be very, very difficult next week, and we'll have to wait and see just how they adapt to this 13 personnel. Even with this shift coming recently, the Rams lead the NFL in 13 personnel usage with a rate of 16.93% according to Summer Sports. Amazingly, their EPA, extra points added out of 13 personnel, is 25.83, nearly double every other team in the NFL. The Bills are second with 13.95 EPA out of 13 personnel. The league average is only negative 0.03 EPA, so the Rams are miles above average. Yeah, I mean, this just goes to show Mike LaFleur, McVay, they're on the same page as well. And again, I didn't even talk about the other receivers who were getting the ball. Devontae Adams leading the game in receptions and yards, 6 for 77 and a touchdown. Puka, 5 for 64 and a touchdown. Xavier Smith got involved in there as well. I'd like to see more Jordan Whittington usage. Obviously, he had some of that injury, so I do think coming into this game against the Seahawks, you're going to see a lot more of the playbook emptied because it's probably the best defense that you've gone up against this entire season. I'm going to keep saying that. So, again, we'll see what that goes into for that game. But for the Rams, again, this is just so great to see you found your bread and butter on offense. Josh and I were both a little bit critical of McVay, so were some people in the chat in the comments of the play calling. Not anymore. He has been dialed in on these play calls, and it's just been great to see this team getting better and better as the year goes on, heating up at the right time. And the Rams have gone all in on this new package with a mix of Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen, and Terrence Ferguson, and it couldn't be working any better than it has. There's 6.7 yards per play out of 13 personnel, 63.3% success rate, and 20% explosive rate out of that grouping were all their 3-game highs. Yeah, they had the best game they've had in this personnel against the Niners. Again, the injuries on the Niners defense, I think, do help that. If Nick Bosa and Fred Warner are out there, definitely would have made that a little bit more difficult for them. But still, seeing you're getting the job done against teams you need to get the job done against, because we saw the game against the Eagles, game against the Niners earlier in the season where they weren't getting the job done, and now to see them not take the foot off the gas, keep running these plays so well. I saw somebody, I forget who it was, it may have been a random Instagram comment even. I don't think it was someone in chat, but if it was, make sure to comment. I saw someone saying McVay was play calling kind of pissed off, and I think he was, because he wasn't really, letting up off the gas a little bit until that last really minute there where the Rams got that first down. They were able to kneel out at the end of the game, but I say keep going with this. It's been working so far. No need to change anything drastic right now. Unless Snead and Sean McVay joked about using more 12 personnel this season after Ferguson was drafted 46th overall in April, but they probably didn't expect to deploy 13 personnel as much as they have. It's made possible by the depth they've developed at tight end, with all 4 players being capable blockers and receivers. For the second week in a row, they've all caught at least one pass. They combined for 10 receptions, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns against the Saints. Undoubtedly, the best collective performance by Rams tight ends in a game under McVay. Yeah, it honestly has been. Like, that game really set it off. And looking into today, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players catching a pass. Obviously, kind of upfield targeted, but kind of just more of a throwaway there. But 9 players targeted on offense, 8 catching the ball. Just absolutely what you want to see. Them spreading out the ball. Obviously, you have your top 2 receivers in every game are going to be Puka and Devontae. But after that, letting everyone else eat. And that's what this personnel has allowed them to do. Really, really spread out that ball more. And I don't think they were joking about using more 12 personnel. That was something they were talking about all offseason. Something Josh and I were really excited to see. Something Rams fans wanted to see. You in the comments wanted to see. But unfortunately, it wasn't really happening until these last few games where they were like, nah, man, we're not going to do 12 personnel. How about we do 13? We're really going to throw off these defenses. And they really have, actually. So, again, just great adjustments from McVay and Coach Mike LaFleur on the offensive side of the ball to really kind of quell any rumors about the offense being stagnant, because they've, again, just been probably the best unit in the league over the last 3 games. And for a coach who's always been predictable with his 11 personnel usage, McVay has thrown every defensive coordinator a curveball by shifting toward more 13 personnel. It's keeping the opposing defenses in base packages more often, which allows the Rams to have success throwing it against bigger, slower defenders instead of small defensive backs. Chess, not checks. The Rams are literally playing 4D chess right now on the offensive side of the ball. And this is kind of what we expected throughout this season, have more of a balanced offense, and now we're seeing that go to fruition. Comment down below right now your thoughts on this offense. I think it's been awesome to see. Again, big test here coming up against Seattle. Probably the best defense you're going to see all season. So leave in the comments down below your thoughts on that and just how well the Rams can perform throughout the season. And how do you believe they can adjust the 13 personnel packages too? Because at some point, they're going to get better at stopping it. It's not like the tush push where you literally can't stop it because the O-line moves early every time. Like, this is an actual fair play. So leave in the comments, down below as well, how you think defenses might adjust, because at some point it's going to happen, and how can the Rams make sure that doesn't happen so they're always ahead of the curve. Leave that down below in the comments as well as what you think about this overall. Now I got to get to some takeaways from this game as well, brought to us by Turf Show Times. Some key moments, some key takeaways, some things to look forward to in the next game. We're going to get into that right now. And the main one here is the Kyren Williams and Blake Corum tandem is working. In the early parts of the season, the Rams couldn't quite figure out how to utilize both Kyren Williams and Blake Corum. The duo combined for 27 carries for 129 yards in this game. That comes 1 week after they combined for 38 carries for 172 yards. It's also the third consecutive game both players have had 10 or more carries. While Williams is still the primary ball carrier, it's been closer to 50-50 in 2 of the last 3 weeks. The Rams simply have the rotation down to best utilize both players' skill sets. 2 of Corum's biggest runs came on wide zone or outside zone concepts that allowed Corum to run along the offensive line and use his vision to find the cutback lane. Kyren Williams remains incredibly efficient running inside while also being used in the passing game. This is the two-headed monster many were expecting this duo to eventually become. Yeah, I agree. This is exactly what we wanted to see earlier on in the season with these 2 players, and now we're seeing this come to fruition as well. And now if we look at the stats on both these guys, as you said, Kyren, 14 for 75, 2 touchdowns rushing, 5.2 yards per carry. Blake Corum, 13 for 56, 4.3 yards per carry. So both guys averaging 4 yards per carry in this game. Again, it helps you be going up against the Saints defense and an injured Niners defense. So I do think this is good to see that you're getting it done when you need to with these 2 guys. Now, again, you're going to go up against the Seahawks, who are going to be a much better defense, a much more disciplined defense than both of these other 2. So the run game, everything on offense is going to have to be working for this Rams team, because the Seahawks offensively looks like JSN is avoiding going into concussion protocol. He was able to come back in the game. We'll obviously keep you updated on that as well heading into this week. But if that Seahawks offense is healthy, they're going to be ready to score on this Rams defense. So it's going to be important for the Rams to be able to counter back and score on that Seattle defense so this game stays close here this week. But again, Williams and Corum, it's worked so well these last 2 weeks. I don't see it being too big of an issue. The Rams O-line has been run blocking a lot better recently as well. And the Emmanuel Forbes show continues. Over the past month, Emmanuel Forbes has looked better and better on the outside. He's improved every week, and it wouldn't be surprising to see him remain on the outside cornerback when Ahkello Witherspoon returns. Forbes had a pass breakup on 3rd down to start the game. In the 4th quarter, he had his 2nd interception in as many weeks. To put it simply, Forbes is gaining confidence and it's showing on the field. Forbes allowed 1 catch for 14 yards in this game, and it's the 4th time in the last 5 weeks that he's allowed less than 25 yards in coverage. What was impressive about this performance was that the Rams' pass rush didn't necessarily get to Mac Jones. They didn't at all. Not necessarily. They just didn't. It certainly affected the throw on Forbes' interception, but the Rams didn't sack Jones and weren't as dominant as other games this season. Yeah, the D-line not being as dominant does concern me. I don't think it's a whole season thing. I think just fair play to the Niners there. But for Emmanuel Forbes, he's been awesome these last 2 weeks. I know Josh and I and you in the comments and other Rams fans have been a little critical of Emmanuel Forbes, but these last few games, he's been awesome with 2 interceptions, multiple pass breakups, and now looking at, obviously, defensive stats here as well. Trying to... Like, Emmanuel Forbes didn't really have any tackles here. He had 2 pass deflections and a pick. So definitely the type of game you want to see from your starting defensive end. He's been a guy who you didn't really put him on Kittle too much, which I think I'm fine with, because Kittle would have absolutely manhandled him like he kind of did everyone else in our defensive backfield. But he did a great job covering these Niners receivers, albeit again backups. We'll see who the Rams put on JSN and Shaheed, who are both going to be playing in this one. So Emmanuel Forbes is going to have his hands full along with the rest of the secondary this week. But if he keeps playing like this, shouldn't have too many problems. And the Rams came out with purpose When the Rams played the Niners back in Week 5, it was as if they weren't ready to play on Thursday Night Football. That was not the case on Sunday. The Rams came out playing with energy and ready to take care of business. They played with the Week 5 loss fresh in their memory. On offense, the Rams scored on their first 3 drives. Defensively, the Rams also got a 3-and-out, and then Nate Landman recorded yet another forced fumble. Before the Niners could blink, the Rams were leading 21-0. This was a game in which the Rams knew they were the better team on the other side, were confident in their game plan, and executed it to perfection. The Rams knew how important this game was, and they were locked in. Yes, they were. This was a great effort from start to finish. Obviously, you did let the Niners gain some yards, which I didn't like, but besides that, you were great. Again, Nate Landman, re-signed that man, give him whatever money he wants. Josh kept talking about it. Josh was on it back in March and April that this was going to be an underrated signing, and he's been right. Nate Landman is one of the best linebackers in football so far this year. One of the key pieces of this Rams defense wearing that green dot. Without him, the Rams definitely do not win this game by as much as they do. Landman, another key player in this one as well. Cam Kitchens as well with the fumble recovery, getting on top of that football. Kitchens always finding a knack for the ball on those fumble recoveries, one of his strengths. And for the Rams, they came out perfectly. Really, this was basically a perfect game. Again, besides really the late second quarter and early third quarter, it was a perfect game here for the Rams. Definitely an A-plus effort, which is what you need when you're going to be going up against one of the best teams in football as well in Seattle this coming week. Comment down below right now your biggest takeaway from this game. For me, I would say it's the run game continuing. But if you have any other ones, comment it down below as well. And also, this Turf Show Times article has 10 takeaways. I only focused on 3 here for time's sake. But if you do want to read this entire article after this video, if you go to turfshowtimes.com, 10 takeaways from the Rams win over the Niners, you will find the rest of this article. And now to a quick little story here to end it about the Rams kicking unit from the Rams.com, which we will get into right now. The Rams on Monday waived long snapper Alex Ward and signed long snapper Jake McQuaid from their practice squad to their active roster. McQuaid held that role for the Rams in Week 10 after being elevated from the practice squad after Ward had done so for LA's first 8 games. While the Rams' place-kicking operation of McQuaid, holder Ethan Evans, and kicker Harrison Mevis did not have a field goal attempt Sunday against the Niners, there were no issues on extra point attempts as Mevis converted all 6 of those tries in their 42-26 victory at Levi Stadium. Yeah, Jake McQuaid, it looks like the blocking was a lot better. Josh kept saying on stream that if you're in the camp of Josh McCarty, you look at the blocking and saying, I didn't have that. While that is a valid point, Mevis, most of those kicks looked pretty down the middle. He looked pretty solid kicking the ball there. The thicker kicker putting enough on every single kick easily to get it through the uprights. And Jake McQuaid just looked like he knew what he was doing more than Alex Ward. I was saying after the stream to somebody that Alex Ward's probably going to get waived because McQuaid looked awesome, and that is exactly what happened. I do agree with this move. Make Jake McQuaid the snapper for the rest of the year, and then you could probably find a better long snapper than Alex Ward somewhere if Jake McQuaid does not want to come back for another season after this. So I agree with this one. And Sean McVay did also name Harrison Mevis the starting kicker for Week 11, which we have a quote about that to get into right now. It's about being able to consistently replicate that success with the surrounding factors, McVay said, and I thought he did a heck of a job going 6 for 6. Yeah, obviously, I do agree with that. I do think Mevis did a good job going 6 for 6, hitting all of his extra points, every single opportunity he had. He did it well. He did his job properly. Ethan Evans handled the kickoffs quite well there as well. I'm surprised Cardi's still not doing kickoffs, but I do understand why with the ball trajectory. And although McVay does still feel comfortable and confident in Josh McCarty, which he had more to say about that as well, which I'll show you right now. I have a lot of belief in Josh McCarty, McVay said. I think he's a guy that's going to have an incredibly bright future. We're going to continue to work with him. Well, I do understand why McVay is doing this. You don't want to totally out his confidence publicly and just totally evaporate it. I don't think it's worth it to keep him on the roster, especially if Mevis after this week, let's say he goes 2 for 2 on kicks and 3 for 3 on extra points, because you're not scoring 6 touchdowns on the Seahawks. I think Josh McCarty is probably in jeopardy, or maybe you try to trade him in the offseason to see how he's doing. Because if Mevis is good, I think you re-sign him. I think you bring him back next year. I don't see the point in leaving Josh McCarty on the roster if Mevis keeps playing well. But comment down below right now what you think of this as well. And that is all for this episode of Rams Digest. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers. So if you want to be a part of that journey, make sure to hit that sub button and click that notification bell. Click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content pieces covering all things Rams so you do not miss a beat this NFL regular season. Leave a like on this video right now for the Rams dub 42-26 over the Niners. Leave a like for a great stream yesterday and another stream this coming Sunday, November 16th. Leave a like for Matthew Stafford making history, 400 career passing touchdowns, 9th player to ever do that. Comment down below right now your thoughts on the 13 personnel usage. What do they need to change with it, if anything, for this game against the Seahawks? Leave in the comment down below right now your biggest takeaway from the game as well. For me, it is the run game continuing to be awesome. And in the kicking game, comment down below your thoughts right now on Jake McQuaid being named the long snapper for the rest of the year and Harrison Mevis getting another start in Week 11. I've been your host, Joshua Finehirsh, as always. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Rams Digest. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon for another one, and have a great rest of your day.